Arsenal is going to be facing Aston Villa over the weekend. And you know what is on the cards. Arsenal have all what it takes to really continue to be on top of the table if at all they continue beating their games and obviously beating Aston Villa. And that will take Arsenal to the level of 74 points. Not so? Let me check here. Arsenal, how many points do you have? Arsenal is having 71 points. They beat Aston Villa. They go to 74 points. And the rest will be history. They'll clean up there because I don't see Liverpool coming out to really score 9 goals or 10 or 12 past the side of Crystal Palace. They're going to be hosting on the 14th. But Man City have a chance to go on top of the Premier League table if at all they beat Luton Town tomorrow. Remember, Man City is going to be playing on Saturday and Arsenal and Liverpool are going to be playing on Sunday, meaning that Man City are going to go up if at all they win against Luton Town, and that will create a little bit of pressure for the side of Arsenal because if Man City win and Liverpool win, Arsenal will be third, and they'll have to obviously win against Aston Villa to see to it that they get into where they deserve. And it's not going to be an easy game. If I told you, it's not going to be an easy game for Arsenal. It's really going to be a hard one. Remember, Arsenal came into this game of football after playing on Tuesday, and that's going to give them an edge because they are going to rest for many days on the side of Aston Villa. Arsenal drew with Bayern Munich 2-2, though it required them a lot of energy to see to it that the team of Arsenal really gets into the level terms. But Aston Villa played yesterday, and they went ahead to beat Lille by 2-1. That means they're going to be resting for only Friday and Saturday. Sunday, it's going to be the real game. And for Arsenal, they've rested Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So those are 4 days without competitive football. The players are really huge and really getting ready to get into the mix. So when we go to the sick bay, Arsenal don't have any sick player. Julian Timber is in, fully fit, but it depends on when the manager is going to make a choice to obviously play him. But for Aston Villa, they're having Boba Kamara out. They're having Boba Kamara out. Douglas Luiz is really facing what we call a very huge call-off because he went ahead to really gain 10 yellow cards and he's out for 2 games. That is Douglas Luiz for you. And Ramsey is also out. So 3 players of Aston Villa are really out. And you know what Aston Villa has all been about. The entire team of Aston Villa has been built around its midfield of Boba Kamara, Luis Diaz, Jack Ramsey and McGinn. And now that means they're left with McGinn and Yuri Tielemans to obviously come in through and really playing to that position, meaning that Arsenal has gone ahead to get a very huge boost ahead of this game of football because you wouldn't like to face the side of Aston Villa when Douglas Luiz is playing in the midfield. Why? Douglas Luiz is really a huge blow to the side of Aston Villa and a boost to the side of Arsenal. Douglas Luiz has come out on several occasions and really shown his quality this season. 31 games played. He has scored 9 goals and 5 assists, 14 goal involvements. And whenever they've gone ahead to be playing big teams, he has gone ahead to rise up to the occasion. And that's what the manager has always gone ahead, obviously, put into consideration. So Aston Villa is really having huge problems. Facing the most informed team in the world. When you're not having your best players, it's a biggest nightmare that you'll never want to obviously face. And you saw to it that it was Tielemans, Douglas Luiz, McGinn in the midfield. But remember, on Sunday, there is no Douglas Luiz. And McGinn has obviously come in through and play there. Maybe he'll get Leon Bailey to play as a central attacking midfielder. But amidst all that, you don't underestimate the level at which Aston Villa can play and really shock you with the pace they really have onto the game. Remember, they're having Oli Watkins. They're having Moussa Diaby. There is this other guy whom we very much know who goes by the names of... There is this other guy who goes by the names of Zaniolo. There is Leon Bailey. So all those can hurt the side of Arsenal. But I think when your midfield is weak, your chances of winning are really little because, or limited, because games of football are won and lost in the midfield. When you look at the midfield of Arsenal, it's fully packed. Partey, Jorginho, Declan Rice, Emily Smith-Rowe, Leandro Trossard, Odegaard, Kai Havertz. Name any midfielder you want. He's physically fit to face the side of Aston Villa. So Villa is really going to be having one of the hugest tests. And Villa comes into this game of football when they're really tied with Tottenham Hotspur at 60 points, right? They're tied with Tottenham Hotspur at 60 points in the 4th position, and they are 5th. Remember, they've gone ahead to play one more game than Man United, and United is having 11 points behind them. If they happen to lose against Arsenal on Sunday, that means if United wins their 2 games, they would have gone ahead to close them down to 5. So, yet Aston Villa has to play Liverpool, right? Aston Villa has to play Liverpool. So, they need to obviously get something out of this game of football, but it's really hard for them because Arsenal looks like they want to obviously come back and really show their fans that we are really good to go into this tie. Now, let's go into the predicted starting 11. You know, the last time Arsenal played this season with Aston Villa, Arsenal went ahead to obviously do the needful, and I think they drew. Was it 0-0? Right? It was a 0-0 draw at the Villa Park, and now they come to Emirates, where Arsenal's gonna hit obviously turn into a fortress, and I doubt whether they're gonna survive the side of Arsenal. In goal, David Raya comes into the mix, responsible for one of the reasons why Arsenal went ahead to concede the first goal against Bayern Munich, for his bad game reading that saw Gabriel Magalhaes making a very big error. That is it. But he's a very good goalkeeper, and he comes in through to obviously take center stage in between the stitches to see to it that he saves all those shots that maybe Oli Watkins, McGinn, and so many on will obviously bring on. On the right back, I think Benjamin White registering an assist against Bayern Munich, missed out on a sitter too, but it shows you how good he has gone ahead to improve. And I think Gary Southgate, wherever he is, feels like he wouldn't have gone ahead to make such a decision to obviously fall out this guy, because he's really performing at elite levels and his assists are really increasing game in, game out. That is Benjamin White to do with that right back position, and he'll have a very huge job to do because either Leon Bailey or Moussa Diaby will be really attacking him, but I was going to show us that he's really good when it comes to obviously tracking back and really managing the two movements in the offensive and the two assignments in the offensive and defensive part. He's really exquisite. That is Benjamin White. Left back, I think Zinchenko comes in through to start, right? He's gonna start, but I won't be shocked if at all they get in another player, because Leon Bailey might sit him down, or Moussa Diaby, and it will depend on the plan of Mikel Arteta. Maybe Tomiyasu will get his first start ever since return from injury, but I see that Zinchenko is going to come out through and really do the needful, because he has just gone ahead obviously get himself a very good boost in that display against the side of Bayern Munich. Central defense, obviously, Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba will take center stage to see to it that they keep another clean sheet. You know, ever since Arsenal conceded against Brentford, by the way, they've gone ahead to keep a clean sheet at the Emirates against Brentford. Sorry, not against Brentford. Against Luton Town, and they're hosting Aston Villa. But away from home, 5 games without conceding any goal. That is Arsenal for you. So that is the back four of Arsenal, and I anticipate it's really gonna have a very hard day, because that front three of Aston Villa can torment you anytime. You know, they will hit you on the break, and I know they are gonna really try to play a high line and really try to hit Arsenal on the break. Now, we go to the midfield. I think Declan Rice is going to really have his go into the stadium area. He hasn't gone ahead to miss out on any Premier League game. That is Declan Rice for you. And no game of Arsenal, Declan Rice is going to miss out. No, not because of yellow cards, not because of injuries. It shows you how good he is when it comes to managing himself after he really gets off the Subha Reality Training Center. Then Martin Odegaard in the mix, obviously coming through and obviously playing that midfield. And I'm thinking Trossard is going to be given a go into that midfield. That is it. Either Trossard or Emily Smith-Rowe might start in that game of Aston Villa, because their midfield is really dilute. If you're going to having McGinn, Yuri Tielemans, and whoever we don't know to come up and really step up into that position, I think the manager of Aston Villa will really find it hard. Maybe he'll go with a back three, then he plays McGinn and Tielemans, then 2 wing backs, and then 3 forwards. We don't know what exactly he's going to have as a plan when he's coming at the Emirates. But all I tell you, it's not going to really be easy for them. And I think Arteta might utilize that chance to obviously bring in Trossard or Emily Smith-Rowe in the midfield because of the weakness in the midfield of Aston Villa. I think Jorginho will be rested. He has a very good game to go when they are playing against Bayern Munich next week. That is Wednesday. And we are talking Wednesday as if it's far. Tomorrow is Saturday, and then it's going to be a Sunday. Then on Monday, Arsenal will train. Tuesday, they board to Munich. It's not even a week to that game. So Jorginho has to be rested, and I think his role is going to be really wanted. His role is really going to be impactful or integral into any result that Arsenal are to get that should take them to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. So Thomas Partey had a very bad display. I don't think that the manager will trust him to come in through and do a job into that game. So I think the midfield three is going to be like that, and that midfield is powerful enough to really dislodge the midfield of Aston Villa out of the way for Arsenal. We go to the right forward, Saka, back on form, scoring against Brighton, obviously, and he scored against Bayern Munich, meaning that he might have gone ahead, obviously, hit what we call his levels as a player. I tell you, he's really doing fine, and nothing's really going to stop him from really clinching the spot of obviously becoming one of those important players when it comes to doing the job at the club of Arsenal. So that is none other than Saka, obviously in elite form, 6 goals away from hitting 20 in the Premier League season. I just can't wait to see how he's really going to do the needful in there for you. Now, left forward, it's going to be, to me, Jesus. Jesus deserves a goal into this game of football to start as a left forward because he really had a very huge impact off the bench when they're playing against Bayern Munich alongside Trossard. And as a manager, you have to reward your best players. How do you reward your best players? By getting them onto the field of play, and that is what Jesus and Trossard should be rewarded with, and that should be a start into the game of Aston Villa. Who is leading the line? Obviously Kai Havertz. He's really doing lots and lots of things at Arsenal, ticking all boxes, and he is really very important. He's checking them out, and he has gone ahead to score 9 Premier League goals. He scored against Brighton, by the way. He had scored against Luton Town. He had an assist, I think, when they're playing against Luton Town. He's in elite form. Would have gone ahead to get himself an assist when Arsenal is playing Bayern Munich, but Benjamin White never really went ahead to hit that ball with surgical precision to obviously kill off that game. No sooner had Saka put Arsenal ahead to be 1-0. So that is my predicted starting 11 for the side of Arsenal. And I tell you, for the side of Aston Villa, they're really going to face it hard. The rest of the departments are okay. Diego Carlos, they're having Konsam, they're having Digne, they're having Cash. The backline is okay. The goalkeeper is good. Martinez, former at Arsenal, and now at Aston Villa. Then they do have the front three. Leon Bailey, Moussa Diaby, and Oli Watkins. Oli Watkins is in the form of his life. That's really okay. But I tell you, there is a very huge problem in the midfield and how they're really going to be handling the midfield questions that Arsenal is going to ask them. And Arsenal is going to be at the Emirates, and you know how they cruise at the stadium of the Emirates. You get? So let's go to the match stats and see who is favored and who is not favored. Arsenal have won 5 of their last 5-6 home Premier League games against Aston Villa, losing the other 3-0 in November 2020. I still remember that like yesterday. So 5 wins for Arsenal and 1 loss for Arsenal. 5 losses for Aston Villa and 1 win for Aston Villa at the Emirates, giving Arsenal a very huge edge into this encounter. Following their 1-0 against them at Villa Park in December, Aston Villa are looking to complete their 3rd Premier League double over Arsenal, previous doings in 1992, 1993, and 2020. Did Aston Villa beat Arsenal this season? Let me check. Aston Villa versus Arsenal, you know, this season. How did that game really end? You know? Wasn't it a 0-0? Aston Villa are unbeaten in their last 9 Premier League away games against London's Hides, 6 wins and 3 draws, having lost 8 of their previous 9 before this win. It's the Villains alongside run without Arsenal in the capital of their own history. That is Aston Villa for you. Then Arsenal have won 10 of their last 11 Premier League games, scoring at least twice in each victory. The Gunners have conceded just 4 goals across these 11 games. Though 3 of these have been at the Emirates. Aston Villa lost 4-1 to Man City in their last Premier League game away, but haven't lost consecutively on the road since May 2023. However, they've lost each of their 3 away games against last season's top 4 so far by an aggregate of 12-4. Now, Arsenal has everything to throw at Aston Villa to win this game of football, and my prediction is going to be 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. I think Arsenal have all what it takes to dismantle the side of Aston Villa, and Aston Villa will be discombobulated because of how Arsenal is going to run at them. Arsenal, first and foremost, want to kill off this fixture early to see to it that they rest some players. And I think the game plan of Mikel Arteta is really going to be simple. You remember how Arsenal played against Newcastle, how Arsenal played against Brentford, how Arsenal played against Liverpool. You remember that approach that Arsenal used to really attack a team in the first 5 minutes. Arsenal had really gotten a goal. That's what Arsenal is going to do. They are going to attack Aston Villa to see to it that in the first 5, 6, 7 minutes, they're going to hit to get the first one. First 20 minutes, 2 goals, even going to have time with 3-0, such that they come in to just relax, and have the luxury to say to it that they think about the Bayern Munich game. I know they are coming to this game with their heads in Munich, but it's bad to cross the bridge before you reach it, and that's what Arsenal should not do. They have to first really get this one out of the way. As their manager has always said, the most important fixture is the next fixture, and they know to it that they're having chances to win the Premier League, and they're having 50-50 chances to go through, because them not winning at the Emirates failed them, and the chances shifted to 50-50, and you never know what's going to happen down in Bayern Munich. Because for Bayern, they've already gone ahead to hand over the trophy to Bayern Leverkusen, and over the weekend, they might be ready to really bench players and see how they don't really do with getting injuries and fatigue, to see that they get ready for the side of Arsenal. So my prediction, 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. But Arteta should really be very, very keen onto how to stop Oli Watkins, Leon Bailey, and Moussa Diaby. They're going to come up with a format of really hitting Arsenal on the break. Give Arsenal the ball. After giving Arsenal the ball, when you really press them and really get the ball right, you have to really hit them on the break. He should really watch out onto that. Then, the other person they should obviously be looking at is none other than the defensive line of Aston Villa. Aston Villa play high line, and they've gone ahead obviously see to it that they have the most offsides caught, They've caught most offsides against their opponents in the league, So they really use that a lot, and I don't know what plan Arteta is going to have to obviously break that high line they really use to defend, and Diego Carlos is a very good defender. But with their midfield being porous, I don't see them functioning and really trying to do with that style of play. They might really change and really do a low block at the Emirates, because they might be afraid that they might will lose badly onto the night, because Arsenal can tear them apart. It just requires Arsenal 6-7 minutes to see that they really put 3 goals past you and they kill off the game, and then start to play around, dilly-dally, get a 4th one, dilly-dally, get a 5th one, and by the time the referee blows the final whistle, you'd have gone ahead to swallow in more like how many goals? Like 5-6. So my prediction, 3-2 in favor of Arsenal. 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. What are your thoughts about this beautiful game of football that's going to be played at the Villa Park? Mikel Arteta is coming in through to do what we call the match press conference, and We just can't wait to hear from him here onto the Rokani Media Football. We're going to be here to obviously let you know what the plan of Arteta is ahead of this game of football. I sign out for now. See you later. May the living to God bless you abundantly. I'm out. The Muslims, Juma Karim.